Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. Since 1926, Farm Bureau has been working to preserve Virginia farms and our rural heritage. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce all of the wonderful products we enjoy, brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau.
Consumers are being bombarded with nutrition claims from various plant drinks. Are they really milk? And how is this affecting Virginia's dairy industry? Crepe Myrtles are popular in Virginia. Mark Viet shows us how to keep them healthy. And a second veterinary college in Virginia is already helping farmers keep their animals healthy.
Welcome back everyone. We're coming to you from Richland's Dairy Farm in Dinwiddie County, and dairy farmers all across Virginia are struggling with rapidly changing markets. But they're also dealing with false labeling in the dairy case.
Ken Smith's family owns Cool Lawn Farm in Fauquier County, where he milks more than 500 cows each day. In 2013, this fifth-generation Virginia dairy producer took steps to boost his business by opening Moo Through, an ice cream retail store.
So we started the planning about 10 years ago, and 8 years ago, in June 1st, we opened up Moo Through. And thank the Lord, it's been a great success. We're #1 ice cream in Virginia. And we're Virginia finest, and we've been touted by Virginia Living and Northern Virginia Magazine, and even Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream listed us #1 in Virginia.
While the ice cream business has been good, Smith and other dairy farmers across the country have seen their fluid milk business decline. They face global competition from other countries producing milk, including new Chinese tariffs on U.S. dairy products. Meanwhile, U.S. milk consumption has declined. In the 1970s, a typical American drank about 30 gallons of milk a year. But the Department of Agriculture estimates that average has now dropped to about 18 gallons a year. Part of that shift comes from some consumers choosing almond milk and other nut or plant-based beverages.
FDA recognizes a lot of different issues with agriculture industry. So they set forth a law that said the standards of identity for milk came from a mammary gland, and now we have different products that are relabeling their product as milk, whether it be nut milk, rice milk, soy milk, almond milk, and all the likes, and they're really not milk.
Plant-based beverages can be made from macadamias, almonds, quinoa, peas, rice, coconut, oats, soy, walnuts, or cashews. Consumption of these plant-based beverages has risen sharply, jumping 9% to 1.6 billion last year. From 2012 to 2016, national sales of conventional cow's milk fell 8%, resulting in a drop of $884 million in farm income each year, according to the USDA.
We've lost 1/3 of the dairy farmers in the United States in the last 6 months. Wisconsin loses 5 dairy farmers every single week. In Virginia, we're losing 2 or 3 every single week. The economy is strengthened by dairy farm families out here working for a living and putting that money back in the local economy. That's what dairy farming has been, and that's what it always will be.
The Food and Drug Administration has announced that it will prohibit makers of almond milk and other non-dairy alternative drinks from labeling their products as milk. The new regulations are due in the next 12 months. FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb says the agency recognizes some consumers may prefer to use plant-based products instead of dairy for a variety of reasons that include allergies or lifestyle choices. But he added that it's the FDA's responsibility to, quote, ensure that the labeling of such products does not mislead consumers, especially if this could compromise their health or well-being. Marketing experts and dairy farmers believe alternative milk products are confusing consumers who mistakenly believe that they have more nutrition than cow's milk. But while consumers have every right to choose alternative beverages for their own reasons, health experts say better nutrition is not one of them.
Typically, when you're looking at almond milk, coconut milk compared to milk, you're going to find it usually has less protein in it. So that's a fact. It usually has less carbohydrates in it. Most of the calories that are coming from it typically come from fat, because you think of almonds and coconuts as being higher in fat. So when they make these kind of products, they are taking the almonds and the coconuts, grinding them down, adding filtered water to it, and then adding back into it some of the nutrients that you would otherwise get in cow's milk, so they can make some comparisons on the label with the cow's milk.
The FDA is taking public comments on the labeling and naming of plant-based beverages through November 27th. You can visit regulations.gov to review the issue and comment yourself. After the comment period closes, the federal government will finalize new food labeling guidelines for these products and how those standards can be enforced.
These are challenging, changing times for Virginia dairy farmers. Consumer demand continues to drop for fluid milk products, which traditionally are the most profitable. In 2018, there were 550 Grade A dairy farms registered in the Old Dominion. That's 100 fewer than in 2017. 3 years ago, dairy farmers earned $478 million. In 2017, they earned $337 million. Ironically, the overall number of cows hasn't dropped. Instead, the remaining dairy farms have gotten larger. Some producers have switched to robotic milking machines to utilize economies of scale, while others have opened local creameries to capture more profit from their operations.
I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, I'm going to talk about a few tips for one of the most common plants we have in our garden, the crepe myrtle. Stay with us.
Farm Bureau is the insurance provider of choice for farmers. But did you know all Virginians can benefit? In fact, most of our members are not farmers. Members may take advantage of discounts on selected autos, trucks, mowers, and tractors on top of the many insurance offerings. Your $40 membership will easily pay for itself with their many savings options as well. Farm Bureau is made for Virginians. To learn more about the membership advantage, go to vafb.com or visit your local Farm Bureau.
Crepe myrtles are a popular element in many Virginia landscapes. Mark Viette shows us how to keep them beautiful in the heart of the home.
Crepe myrtles are durable plants in many areas. They'll grow along the coast, along Virginia Beach, North Carolina. They'll even grow quite well in pure sand. Some crepe myrtles, though, don't like very cold temperatures. But one of the hardiest of all the crepe myrtles, in my experience, is one that is known as Natchez. Pure white flowers, maybe not the beautiful red or pink flowers, but it does have the prettiest bark. Now, when we prune crepe myrtle or grow them in a garden, sometimes they're grown sort of as a shrub, where they're not allowed to get too big, and we'll get to that in a minute. But in this case, I want to be able to see the bark. So I would come in and remove some of the lower branches, unless I keep some of these branches at the base to build a new trunk or create a new trunk, if for some reason these trunks don't survive. But you just come in and prune, and then as you get closer to the base, you'll prune these all the way to the base. Any little ones that come up on the side, I will come in and remove them. And little ones here. So in a few minutes, this whole thing will be completely pruned. It's really important you get crepe myrtles that are specific to your area and they'll survive the winter. This is one that got damaged last winter. Had a lot of calls on the radio about my crepe myrtle dying back. In that case, you can cut them back. Sometimes you'll even see the bark splitting. Again, I wait till the middle of May to kind of make sure that they are dead. You can scratch the bark with your fingernail to also check, but in this case, I'm going to come in and cut this one to the ground. If you use a chainsaw, be careful. Make sure your chainsaw blade is sharp. So just come in and prune all of this back to about 6 inches from the ground. There are hundreds and hundreds of types of crepe myrtle that you can choose from. All different colors, pinks, whites, lavenders, reds, even types with beautiful color or brilliant color, especially in the fall. The biggest mistake we all make is we don't pick the right size crepe myrtle for the right place in our garden. There are about 5 different classifications of height. Some only get 2 feet, some get 4 to 5 feet, some get 5 to 10, some get 10 to 15, some get 20 to 30, some even get taller than 30 feet. So a lot of times we plant crepe myrtles that get too big, and what that forces us to do is prune them. That means you have to have right equipment, because a lot of times branches fall and they hit you in the head or your eyes. You got to be very careful. You also, when you're using pole saws or anything, or pruners, it's very important that you watch for overhead power lines. Many people have been hurt by hitting over power lines that are running through the top of their trees and shrubs. This is one that we would normally prune sometime in May, and I have done that. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
Green beans are a family favorite. Chef John Maxwell has a new recipe for beans next in the heart of the home.
Virginia green beans are a delicious and nutritious part of any meal. Today, Chef John Maxwell has a recipe for green beans as a side or main dish in the heart of the home.
Hi, welcome to the Heart of the Home. I'm Chef John Maxwell, and we're here at Meadow Hall and Meadow Event Park in Doswell, Virginia, where every week we get to play with a great Virginia food. We're going to focus on some wonderful vegetables today. We've got a green bean dish that's going to be really snappy and tasty. So I've got some water boiling over here, and I'm going to blanch these green beans off so that they'll get a head start on cooking and it fixes the color. So if you wondered how chefs maintain that really good green color when they're cooking their green beans, this is the trick. All right, so this water's got some salt in it, and it's brought to a boil. I'm going to add these in there. And this whole process takes just about a minute. I'll leave a few of these out here so you can compare them. All right. It takes just about a minute to get these, plus or minus, because the green beans could be larger or smaller and the water could be. So we're just going to look at this now, wait until they turn the right color, and then I'm going to drop them into some ice water to stop the cooking process. All right, these have been boiling now for about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, and I'm going to pull them out and put them down into this hot water, into this cold water, all right, to stop the cooking process. All right, so we can see here, these green beans are now a good, rich green color. They're nice and bright, and they're soft, no crunch. So they're cooked, ready to go. Just let them cool off a little bit more and get ready to cook these. All right, I've set myself up over here so I can get this cooked quickly, because this really needs to be a fast saute. So I've got some heat going on under here. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I like to add the olive oil before the pan gets really hot, because as the metal expands, the oil can go down into the like the pores of the metal, and help make a nice surface. A little bit of garlic. Can you hear that? Singing nice. All right. So I'm going to add the garlic. Let that come to where it's getting kind of clear. Right. I don't want it to brown. because I want to add the onions to it. Now the moisture in the onions will lower the temperature and keep it all from browning. And I want to cook them long enough to soften. That'll let the moisture out of the onions, and as it evaporates, this will all get to be a little bit on the brown side. But that way the onions and the garlic will brown at about the same rate. Okay, singing nice, smelling good. I love the smell of garlic and onions. Now I'm going to add green beans. I'm going to add part of them to that. And I'm going to add some of the more flavorful ingredients. I've got some roasted red peppers. I'm going to go ahead and cut these into strips. Get those in there. Got to clean your cutting board really quick when you're dealing with red peppers, otherwise they'll leave a stain. All right, so these are going nice. Onions are starting to brown. This is all getting hot. Add a few more of the green beans. Some capers. Some black olives. I'll cut these up. I use Greek style olives here, but any kind of dark olive will work. In fact, even the Spanish olives stuffed with pimentos would work. You just need a little bit of that salt and that nice meaty flavor of the oil. And this is going to take about 1.5 minutes. I'm going to scoop all this into this bowl. So let me get this wiped up just a little bit here. And we'll top it with a little bit of pine nuts. And a little bit of black olive on the top so you can see it. I like to announce what's in my dishes by garnishing on the top. So a little bit of capers. So there we've got it. We've got sauté of green beans with capers, pine nuts, and olives. It's delicious. I wish you could smell it. So join us next week on Heart of the Home, where we get to play with great Virginia food.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com, as well as on Chef Maxwell's website at chefjohnmaxwell.com. Green beans are raised in gardens and small farms everywhere in Virginia, although there are only about 714 farms listed in the latest Census of Agriculture. Some grocery stores even feature locally produced green beans in season, but they're more commonly sold at farmers markets or directly from the farm. Green beans are one of the easiest of all crops to grow and typically have very little disease or insect problems. They're a summer vegetable grown directly from seeds, not from transplants. So before planting, the soil in the spring must be warm enough for the seeds to germinate, about 60 degrees.
Did you know Virginia has 2 veterinary colleges? As Dave Miller reports, a new vet school in the furthest corner of Southwest Virginia is already making a difference for farmers.
Close to the historic Cumberland Gap in the far western tip of Virginia is 700 acres of blazing green pasture land. Surrounded by national forests and parks, the campus of Lincoln Memorial University's College of Veterinary Medicine is home to herds of cattle, dairy cows, and horses, along with hundreds of veterinary students.
Our students are here for 3 years on campus, and then the 4th year they go out to a variety of practices. There are actually several hundred to choose from all over the country, and have a real-world veterinary hands-on experience for their clinical year, as opposed to being in a structured teaching hospital. The other thing that makes us unique is the fact that our students have literally hundreds of labs where they do hands-on tasks and learn things with their hands starting from the very first semester for all 3 years while they're here, so that when they leave, they have mastered the basic skills that they need to be a competent, confident veterinarian and able to contribute to the practice that they join.
Like Morgan Stacy, many of the students grew up in the Appalachian region. She's interested in large animal medicine and plans to give back to her Russell County community when she graduates. Going to LMU was an easy choice for her.
Well, my first trip out here, it was such an amazing experience driving through all of the farmland, and it just feels so natural, so real, and there's fresh air, and it's not only good for the animals, but it's great for us too. You know, between classes, we're able to step outside and get to view the mountains that's behind me, and it's such a nice, relaxing, peaceful place for both the humans and the animals here.
Aimee Mcmurray is also from the Appalachian region. She graduated from LMU and is now a member of the staff, and she likes how the students get their hands dirty right away.
Our large animal team does a lot of training with them to make sure that the students are always safe when they come to labs. And we integrate the herds in our clinical skills teaching and our clinical year teaching so they get some good hands-on opportunities.
The Veterinary College started in 2014 thanks to the backing of a successful local farmer and businessman. Pete DeBusk donated the 700-acre parcel in Lee County for the construction of the vet school, and he serves as chairman of the board of LMU. He believes strongly in the university's mission of providing Appalachian students a chance to advance through higher education and is proud of the school's outstanding reputation.
One of the things that the American Veterinary Medical Association does, through a survey, they get in touch with the students after they graduate and ask them, of all things, how many job offers did you have? Well, we graduated our first class last year, but remember, we're a distributive model, so we've sent these kids to many different veterinary practices to rotate for a month, then another one for a month, and they've been exposed to a lot of different settings. Well, of course, people are going to like there's going to be areas that they really like the students, and so when our students were surveyed, all of them had several job offers.
The college is one of the only high-speed internet hubs in Lee County. Folks in the community surrounding the vet school also want access to broadband, so it can grow and attract students and residents in general to the neighborhood.
I think it's the jewel of Lee County, and it's certainly one of the precious jewels in southwestern Virginia. It's starting to produce veterinarians who are serving us in Virginia. Of course, they're going other places as well, but the fact that 4 of them have taken jobs in southwestern Virginia, 2 in Tazewell and Russell counties, and 1 in Scott County, and 1 in Christiansburg. So we have new vets, and they're very well trained. I know personally because they have two of them have been to my farm and pregnancy checked my cattle, and they did a great job.
Lincoln Memorial University's Veterinary College is already ranked as one of the most affordable schools in the country, and every member of the first graduating class already has a position in a practice. That's good news for them, of course, but also for the surrounding communities and the Appalachian region it serves, especially for the livestock farmers in Southwest Virginia. In Lee County, Virginia, this is Dave Miller.
That's going to do it for this edition of Real Virginia. We are so glad you could join us to celebrate the bounty Virginia has to offer. Whether it's in your home, your garden, or your landscape, we are proud to say that this is Real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a good week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay.